like we had one particular client, and they worked for a big retailer, and they had a very interesting use case that was ripe for an agentic workflow. And what it actually was they had a bunch of flyers and they had a bunch of signage that basically had information on it, like sales and content and date and so on and so forth. But they had to go to the client's ERP system to get the SKU information to validate it when it was created. And that was a massive time sink. So we created an agent for them that would get the information per SKU, would OCR the document, would do all of the checks for them, would annotate them and draw a box around them, put it in the workflow. And if there was an issue, it would flag it back to the creative. If it was okay, it would move it forward. So that's an example of something that was very tight. It was tidy. They had the data for it. They had they had the kind of integrations in place for it. And we were able to come back with a very good usable solution that was measurable. And I think they're the kind of use cases that agencies should be kind of chasing, just to keep it small and tight and get value from it. The other things that I've seen them do quite well is the way that they summarize feedback and they convert it back into team tasks. So that would be feedback from clients, so that you're streamlining that whole process. So you're saving time there again.
So does it keep learning based on the feedback you keep giving it?
Yeah, that is exactly the idea, right? So if you're building an agent and you're writing comments and you're making the same mistakes every single time, you would hope that the feedback would learn and it would help you do it a lot more efficiently and better in the future. And that's where governance comes in. So the thing about that is that you want governance that doesn't slow your creativity. And I think a lot of governance is a bad reputation with creatives, and it is hard and it is time consuming. But when you do proper AI kind of governance, it can be invisible. So in those examples there, you can have kind of like automated brand checks in your workflow. You can't put guardrails up that are blockers. You can't escalate only when needed. So when you think things through and you think your process is through, you can put the guardrails and the governance in place. That will save you time and do the first pass on your work, and just move the process forward. So you are gaining time. It's measurable and it's quantifiable. I do think as well the ones that I've seen are really successful is they look at the cost as well, because AI can be expensive. Mm-hmm. Okay. So it's pretty cheap to do a POC, but when it goes into production, it kind of gets expensive fairly quickly. So the best teams don't use more AI, they use smarter AI, right? So they use AI for things, for like really simple tasks that have to be done every day, like repeat work. They use smaller models for scale, and they use the bigger models only when they need that creative lift. And I think that's a big thing that people are making a mistake, is they're not careful enough in how they choose their models. They need to understand that each model does a specific thing and they're good at a certain thing. And you gotta like marry the cost of your token and model with what you're trying to achieve. And I think when you do that, you get great consistency and it's a predictable cost.